Good morning, San Diego.
Hello, Ron.
I'm your host, Ron Burgundy.
And Veronica
Corningstone. That's who you are.
I was going to say cornbread or something.
you have yellow hair. This is episode 39 of Couples Coverage. Nicholas Moriano, Stephanie Abonce here to
bring you the news.
Bring you the news on this Halloween edition of Couples Coverage. This is fun. This was like a whole thing, us getting set up, you spraying down my wig to get my hair perfect.
It's getting kind of crazy again, but that's all right.
Kind of a big deal.
It's already 9:31 and we are freaking sweating already.
It gets hot in these things. Like this wig is not. I mean, yours is probably not comfortable either.
No.
But we're having fun though.
Yeah, I have like a little. It's not a bald cap, but it's like one of those. You know when you like in stores, like let's say like a Sears. This is where I remember them vividly. You would have those like socks, those little socks that you would put on your foot before you would try on a shoe.
Oh, like what is it? What's a pantyhose?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Is that what they're called?
But that's basically what I have right now. And I was pouring myself the glass of wine that I had before this, and I felt something go, it it fell off my head. So it's not sitting where it's supposed to, but that's okay.
That's right. We got it to work, and this is all last minute too. You came up with the idea. Let's. You said Anchorman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we literally bought the stuff off of Amazon yesterday. It showed up this morning and a little bit in the afternoon, and here we are, recording and doing this Halloween edition. Before we kind of get into our rundown of everything we got, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, on Spotify, at Couples Coverage, or Apple Podcasts, or really anywhere you listen to your podcast, you can find the Couples Coverage podcast. Make sure to leave a review, and tell your friends about all the shenanigans that we do on this podcast. So we're growing the community. Feels great. And it feels great to be doing a Halloween episode because Halloween's a fun time. And
Halloween is a very fun time, but it's basically over. Like this is gonna go up on Halloween.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing, yeah.
I feel like this is the most Halloween thing that we've done, yes, because we're about to tell you what our Halloween festivities have been like so far this year. Exactly.
But yes, we also have little Mabel here. She's our little special guest. Because
your brother's dog, for people who don't know,
she was also
dog sitting.
She was in our episode where we talked about when we got kicked out of a hotel. So if you haven't heard that episode, go back and find it.
Oh, she was the reason why we got kicked out.
She was the reason why we got kicked out.
That's right. Little Mabel. That's funny. But yeah, we are dog sitting. Brady's with my parents, and we're
gonna actually introduce them probably next week.
Next week?
Yes. Well, not introduce them. They've met before, but they've never shared a space together, lived together. So we're gonna have her for another week, almost 2 weeks basically. So when we get Brady back, they're gonna live together for a few days, and I'm excited to see how he does with another dog. But
especially because this is his house.
Yeah, this is his place.
So he might be a little
she's been making herself at home.
I know, playing with his toys, being in his big bed,
eating
all that
his
stuff.
Food.
Everything.
But yes, so if she pops up, that's who she is. All right.
Let's get into it. Let's get into this episode. You have the rundown. Where are we starting things off?
All right. So actually, I have this wrong. I have 29. It's actually episode 39.
We said 39, but you wrote it 29.
I just wrote it wrong. Yeah. All right. So yes, Halloween. This is, like you said, the most fall activity that we've done so far. Actually, you know what? We've done a couple of things very early in October.
We did fall activities, but Halloween activities?
Not Halloween
really.
activities.
This is the most Halloween thing, dressing up in actual costumes. But we've done some fall stuff.
Yeah, and this year we actually have nowhere to go for Halloween. There's no Halloween plans. We usually have our friends who throw their little annual Halloween party, and this year it just didn't happen because of some other events that they
weddings.
Yeah, other weddings that they had going on. So yeah, so we weren't gonna dress up, but we're we have to do something for our Halloween episode. and I'm glad that we like threw it all together. But yeah, we tried to have a like spooky date. Was it last week or 2 weekends ago?
I think it was just last week.
Last weekend?
Yeah, last weekend.
Okay.
Yep.
Last weekend, we almost impulsively bought some season passes.
Six Flags.
Which
yeah.
cracks me up now.
Well, here's the thing. You buy a season pass for, I think with taxes, what? It's like came out to $90 something, right?
A season pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 92 or something.
And you either do that or buy a day pass. And on the day we were trying to go, because it was a Friday night or Saturday night?
I think it was a Saturday or
whatever day
days.
it was.
Friday or Saturday, but it was
$60 something.
Yeah, close to 70.
And it's like one day for $67, or you buy a season pass, which would give us access to this Great America for the rest of this year. And they do have now, like, winter, and it's all next year. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at the fact that you're in this wig talking about going to Six Flags. It just is so funny to me. But okay, so Six Flags to me feels very nostalgic because it was basically like daycare. Not daycare because we weren't like super kids. I mean, we were, but I remember there were summers when I would just get dropped off there, and then like me and my cousins would go and like spend all day there basically. And now it's like, yes, it's fun, but I don't picture us going more than like once or twice. So it's like, yes, they almost are forcing you to get a season pass because of the prices. And I know we would have fun, but it's like, when realistically, like, when else are we going to like go back?
Yeah. And all you have to do is really go 2 times, and it's a better deal than buying the one day.
Yeah.
But again, we didn't go at all this year. And we were thinking of going potentially for the first time last weekend, and we didn't end up going.
Yeah.
So I think we ended up making the right decision, because we didn't need to buy a whole season pass just because we didn't want to pay the price for a one-day ticket, knowing that we probably weren't even going to go twice.
Yes, but it does make me a little bit sad because I do love roller coasters. I'm like big no on anything that spins.
I love spinning rides.
See, are you sure? Because I thought I liked spinny rides when I was little, and now like those would probably ruin my day.
No, I've always loved them, and I feel like I've been to Six Flags a little bit more recently, maybe with my younger brother at one point, and we got on rides.
Yeah,
but
Sam loves Six Flags.
Yeah, my youngest brother loves Six Flags, and I still love the spinning rides. Like they have these, like, they're basically teacups that you sit in, and there's a turnstile, and you can go really fast in that thing. I'm just like twisting it and turning it, and then you're just like, I feel like the thing's gonna fly off the tracks or whatever. Yeah. But I do love them. I don't like I'm not afraid of heights. I wouldn't say, but rides that just kind of, there's this one called the Giant Drop for people who don't live over here, never been to Six Flags or whatever. You basically just get taken up, you're held there for a couple seconds, and then you drop. I don't like that. That's not my thing.
Yeah, that one is the one that, like, I always, when I have gone on it, I always regret it as soon as I get, like, buckled in.
Yep.
And then I always tell myself I'm never doing that again, and then somehow someone convinces me to go back on.
It's always somebody else.
Yes.
It's like, I'm not willingly gonna go on that ride. But if you're with a group, it's like, are you really gonna wait? And like, well, I would, but you're, not letting me or whatever. So, yeah.
But the point is, we wanted to do this because it's Fright Fest right now. Mm-hmm. So they have all the scares out, and I feel like it's like the perfect amount of scary because you're not like 100% gonna get like targeted. Like, you could avoid them or go somewhere else. There's so many people that they can chase. Whereas like a haunted house, it's like you're gonna get scared in there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's kind of like where I draw the line, is like Fright Fest at Six Flags is like the perfect amount of scary for me.
And honestly, it's really not that scary.
No, but it is sometimes because it gets dark early now. And so you are walking around, and I just don't like the people with like the chainsaws or like the people in like the clown costumes. I don't like it.
I'll never forget the time where I think it was my younger brothers and I, we all went, and my brother Dan, he had to tie his shoes, and we kind of left him a little bit as he's tying his shoe, and then he gets surrounded by clowns, and I'm pretty sure she was scared of clowns for a good minute. So, but yeah, he was like, running back. Hey, I mean, if you're young enough and that happens, I get it, but that was pretty funny when that happened.
I know that I've ran away too whenever there was like someone chasing me specifically. Like my thing is like I'm running, so I end up losing my group because bye Maple. I end up losing my group because I'm just like, I don't care, I'm just trying to run away.
But that's how you get targeted, though.
If you're scared,
if you run and Mabel's just laying on the ground. But yeah, it's you got to stay composed.
Yeah.
Act like it's not there. But we're stuck on this.
We are stuck on this, but I do feel like it's a good topic because, okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about, like, super quickly. I used to go in Six Flags. There was a lady who would go and she would do like the hypnosis show, and people would get called up. And you would have to follow like her breathing techniques and like allow yourself to get hypnotized. And she said if there was like any sort of like block in your mind, or if you weren't willing to let it happen, it wouldn't happen. And then so she would call people up, right? And I would always get so nervous that I was going to get hypnotized if I followed it. But I was like, is this real? Are people actually like not themselves right now? Because even the people that didn't get called up who were following her directions were in the audience passed out.
I've actually...
like asleep when she would say sleep.
I've actually gone to one of those shows at Six Flags. It's... so that... I remember that time. Like, one, I didn't allow myself to be in that headspace to get, like, hypnotized. But I do remember in high school when we had, like, this guy who was being, like... he was trying to be an up-and-coming magician. And I think he's, like, still doing that now. But in front of the entire cafeteria, I volunteered, like, yeah, let me do it. And I went along with it. It did not work. But I would have been embarrassed for him that he's, like, putting on this whole entire show, and then I'm not, like, I don't do anything. So I literally went along with it. He's like, you will raise your hand and drop. And like all this stuff, I'm like, and I'm trying to sell it, and then I'm like, my friends afterwards, I'm like, yeah, I wasn't doing that. That wasn't me. I was like, dude, how'd you do that? But it definitely didn't work. I was playing along with it because I didn't want him to feel bad that he did this whole routine and nothing happened.
Maybe that's the magic of it. Maybe that's literally all it is. People get called up and they go along with it because it's like it's awkward if you're just up there and not doing what you're like being told to do.
Maybe it's awkward. Yeah, it could be awkward for you. It could be awkward for the person performing this, everything. But yeah, I've done that actually once.
I have heard like stories of people who have been hypnotized, like actually, and they always have. For example, like I think I heard that Rob Dyrdek got hypnotized like for success, and he swears that that's what made him so successful. Anyways, we can move on. Oh my gosh, it's really hot and this wig is itchy. Are you itchy?
I'm actually getting used to it.
Oh. All right, Ron. Ron Burgundy.
Sandalwood.
Okay,
Mahogany.
So we did get stuck a little bit on that, but the point is we were going to go to Six Flags, and like we said, we didn't end up doing it. So we're like, okay, what are our last minute plans? Let's just go to this farm that's by the area that we were in. And we go, it had good reviews, but it was like the most like opposite of spooky, the Halloween vibes that we were going for. It was like the most wholesome little farm with like pumpkins and apple cider donuts and hay rides.
Hayride, and as you're on the hayride,
and goats.
And little goats, but on the hayride we're with this these couple of kids and then another couple, and we have to point out all the scarecrows that are on the route. It's like, there's a scarecrow, and we're learning about crops and, you know, how everything gets pollinated and, you know, the process of things. So it was a little learning adventure, and it wasn't, I mean, there was nothing scary about it whatsoever.
Okay, but it was my first hayride, and that's the reason I enjoyed it. Also, the farmer there, he was the owner. The one that was giving us the tour on the hayride, he was the owner. So I was like, okay, I feel good that we're supporting his little like
local farmers,
and his Halloween, like his October, what would you call it? October festivities.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is a big time for him.
We were literally sitting there counting scarecrows with children.
we went from Fright Fest, and then I was like suggesting potentially a haunted house, but that's not your thing.
No,
it really isn't
thing.
my thing either.
No.
But it's when this time comes around, like I could not get convinced of going, but I could justify, do we want to go to a haunted house? It's the one time a year, but we didn't end up doing that. Just wasn't our thing.
No, it's not my thing at all. Like, I like fall stuff, but Halloween things, anything that's actually going to scare me, I don't like it. I'm already like an anxious person as it is. I don't need something to make me more anxious and nervous and stressed.
Well, yeah, and you know what? When we got, so to kind of finish our Halloween dates, we went back to our apartment and we're like, we're going to watch a scary movie. Like, we're going to find something on Netflix, Hulu, one of those streaming services, and watch a scary movie.
Yes. We were literally deciding between like The Nun, like The Conjuring. Like, we were trying to find like the scariest
Annabelle,
movie.
yeah.
We were making popcorn. We were getting ready for like the spooky movie.
I think it was my fault we didn't watch the movie.
Why?
Because I just didn't want to. Like, those movies put me on edge. Like, you don't like gore and like killing, like,
no.
I was suggesting, I hadn't seen the new it's Scream, right? Scream. They just came out with it, I think in 2022 or something like that. I hadn't seen it. I'm like, let's watch that one. But that's not your style.
No, I don't like anything like that.
And then you were suggesting more
ghosts, like
spirits and that kind of stuff. And I don't know. Either one. Actually, I would rather do the gory killing, but I still don't even like that too. I don't know. It just gets my heart racing. And going to bed at night thinking about those things, it's like, no. And so we're there. I don't even think we end up watching we don't even click on anything.
No, babe, you're literally missing the punchline.
What?
We're scrolling.
No, we don't watch any of the scary movies.
No, we end up watching Mr. Deeds.
Yes. How we ended up on Mr. Deeds, I don't know.
Because we were watching trailers, and I think we were both like, no, I don't like this. Let's watch like the happiest thing we can find, Mr. Deeds.
And Mr. Deeds is a funny movie. There's
pathetic.
Yeah, it was. I mean, to like complete our Halloween festivity, we definitely didn't do that.
No,
we went on the most joyful hayride in the Lake County, and then we go and watch Mr. Deeds, and it's like, what are we doing here?
But I have no regrets.
Yeah, we got apple cider donuts. We, got to bed early. Still made popcorn. Had popcorn. So
yeah, no, it was good.
It was a good night. Yeah,
just
honestly. It wasn't a scary night.
And I don't care. I actually don't care. I don't like being scared.
You know what? I definitely was more of a fan and wanted to do it when I was younger.
Yes, same.
High school, like, let's go see the scary movies.
Yes.
Let's go to haunted houses. Let's, stay up and watch scary, like all those things. All for it. And liked it, enjoyed it. And now it's just more so like,
why would I pay to feel that way?
Yeah.
I'm trying to feel the opposite of that.
But there's some people like, this is their holiday.
Yeah.
Like, go all out, embrace the darkness,
yeah,
everything, and just kind of relish in like this holiday for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I like fall. I love fall.
Yeah.
Halloween now, it's not on my tier of things that happen in October. It's like at the bottom. Like, I like football. I like the season or the weather kind of changing, even like the color, everything.
Yeah.
And then scary stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, even back then, too, I feel like I used to put more thought into, like, okay, what are we going to be for Halloween? Or, like, how can I make this, like, a good Halloween? Now I'm just like, let's throw on something funny. Like, let's just make it funny.
Here we are.
Or not even necessarily funny, but, like, I don't know. I think I was telling you this. I feel like the older we get, the less I want to do like, oh, sexy costume, and I would just be like, let's just find something funny to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because I feel like that was definitely, I don't know, the vibe earlier.
Yeah.
Like you would go out to these bar crawls in the city. It's usually cold, and you see the sexy nurse that doesn't even have pants on, or like dudes wearing like no sleeves for whatever costume.
Firefighter.
Yeah, like those types of things. But
And honestly, like I don't care. It's just more so like not what I am like gravitating towards these days.
if we did have a group of friends that said, "Do you want to do this?"
Oh yeah.
Sure, yeah, like we're all for it.
Yeah.
We'll go out and do it big, I guess. But you ain't inviting us. It's fine. we'll stay in and watch Mr. Deeds or watch a non-scary movie.
Yeah. Okay, so you told me that you had a scary story, and you didn't even really tell me about this. So I want to know what this is about.
And before I tell you that, we're going to take a little break here, and I'm going to tell everybody about OWYN, which stands for Only What You Need. If you're looking for, a new protein shake, something that is vegan, obviously doesn't have dairy, but has all the benefits of some of those other protein shakes, but has quality ingredients, OWYN's going to be the way to go. For like me, when I was like having some of those dairy shakes, I would just feel weird afterwards. Drink OWYN, you feel good, you get your protein in there. They have the Elite Protein line, which has 32 grams of protein, or you can just get some of their normal shakes that come in an awesome variety of flavors: cookies and cream, dark chocolate. They have even coffee flavors. Like, they got it all. And you can get some of it too by going to liveowyn.com and using the promo code COUPLEGOALS. That'll actually save you 15% off your first purchase. So go to OWYN, fill up your cart, use the promo code COUPLEGOALS, and save 15% off. And that's OWYN. And then also we got to tell everybody about SeatGeek. If you're looking for tickets, if you want to go to some haunted houses or, some haunted activities, I guess, SeatGeek's going to probably be the first place you should go to see the ticket prices for some of those types of events, concerts, obviously sporting events. So you can check out SeatGeek, and you can actually save $20 off your first purchase by using the promo code COUPLESCOVERAGE. Check out SeatGeek. Do something on date night. SeatGeek's going to be the way to go. Save $20 off. Use the promo code COUPLESCOVERAGE.
Thanks, OWYN, and thanks, SeatGeek. I feel like I have to. I'm going to send you a picture of Mabel because the way she was watching us when we were doing this.
Maybe she's tired and it's like you guys are talking.
And I'm trying to go to sleep. She's grandma.
Yeah, her eyes are kind of, kind of getting, looking like they want to go to sleep. But yes, the scary story. Okay. So I think this is actually something really relatable too. And I was trying to think as we were kind of brainstorming ideas for this podcast, like, you were going to say something.
Well, I was just trying to prepare. Is this a scary story as in like scary or more like realistic scary?
Both.
Okay.
Realistic scary.
I'm so confused. What is this?
Yeah, and I can't exactly pinpoint exactly when this happened.
Oh, gosh.
Or even if you were in the car with me. But I was driving. All I know is that. I know I was driving. I don't even know if I was by myself, like I said, or you were with me. But it was kind of in an area where maybe we were coming back from somewhere. And so it was a good distance. And when you're on roads that don't have a lot of people.
I'm scared.
Good. When you're on roads that don't have a lot of people, it can be very nerve-wracking when you're the only car on the road and then another car is behind you. And you're going the same route, and it gets even weirder when you make a turn and they make a turn. And I felt like when this happened before, and this definitely happened, like, I swear to God, this guy was following me everywhere I went. And I'm just following the GPS, trying to get us back home, wherever we were going. But it just felt like every single time I turned, this car was turning. And I almost contemplated, do I want to pull over real quick where there's not many street lights either. And that's where it gets really, again, nerve-wracking. And I almost thought about, if I pull over, will this car just go ahead of me? I don't know. So you just kind of keep on driving. But as I'm driving, looking at the rear view mirror, and you can't really see a face or anything because it's dark. I'm driving at night and the headlights are on. But it's just a very uneasy feeling knowing that you're not even necessarily being followed. They're maybe just going the exact same route, need to go, very similar place or whatever, and get on the main highway, whatever it could be. But if you've experienced that, I feel like it's something that maybe people can relate to because we're all obviously on the road trying to get to places. But when you're in an unfamiliar place and you're going somewhere, there's not a lot of lights, and you get on the road and someone else is behind you, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's just something about only two people being there, not knowing who that is, and just, feeling uneasy.
You know what this just reminded me of? When we went to Arizona, I
knew it. I was just thinking about that too.
We tried to go stargazing, and it is so dark over there. They don't have a lot of lights because they try to Sedona, preserve so that you can see as much of the sky as possible. So there's not a lot of lights, and we tried to what can't talk, sorry. We tried to go stargazing, and you're in a parking lot that is like pitch black, like you can't even see your hand in front of you, and that there's other people there also parked, and obviously everyone turns off their cars so that you can see the sky as best as possible. Mm-hmm. And that was very eerie, knowing that someone else is there with you in the dark. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm curious to know exactly like what trip this was, and if I was in the car, because you obviously didn't mention it to me, and I probably would have been very nervous.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to like alarm you, because it would just make two nervous people. I'd rather be the only one, because it's just easier that way. Like, even this past weekend, I thought I left my wallet in an Uber coming back from DC, and I didn't tell you about it until I got my wallet back. Yeah. Because I didn't want you to freak out about it. Just like things like that. I'll deal with it. It'll be fine. But yeah, that trip to Sedona, it was one, being in a place that I'm not familiar with, and two, the fact that, like you said, you put your hand out at the time it was, and it wasn't like it was like super late out. It was probably like 8 or 9 o'clock, but I could not see my hand in front of me. Mm-hmm. And you're hearing these noises. Well, I don't know. Maybe I thought I was hearing noises, but just being out in the wilderness, knowing that there's another car out there, I thought they were going to kill us. Like, yeah. I just did not trust anybody. And so it was, yeah.
I know what you mean, though, because there was also one time where I was driving from here to DeKalb. Mm-hmm. That drive is so like lonely. There are no cars, especially at the time. I was going for a specific event that ended really late, and so on the way back, I was literally the only car on this road that was just like straight and like not foresty, but very like cornfieldy.
Yeah, it's heading towards Iowa. So you pass DeKalb heading towards like
oh my
Iowa,
gosh.
yeah.
I was like, I've been the only car for like 20 minutes on this like single road.
I don't like that.
I didn't like it either.
Car.
No,
yeah.
I didn't like it. And I don't know. I think you must have been asleep, because I'm not sure, but it was like 3 in the morning. So like maybe, honestly, probably not that late. Probably was like 2 in the morning. Mm-hmm.
I do remember you going to that event though.
Yeah. And honestly, that's the reason I haven't gone back to this specific event, because of that drive. It's like, no, I don't want to be the only car on the road. And like, I had my music. I remember playing like specifically like my Trevor Hall, like something very calming and like uplifting to make me feel like I was going to be okay, because I was kind of panicking and like, who am I going to call at like 2 in the morning to be on the phone with?
Ron Burgundy.
Okay, Ron, you were sleeping.
I'll wake up.
But anyways, wow. Okay. That is pretty scary.
That's my spooky, scary story that I remember but don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But it happened. I just don't know. Can't pinpoint exactly where.
That's all right. Something else that I wanted to talk about that I personally think is kind of scary. And actually, I saw a video of this while we were in London. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to like pin that, because I know I want to talk about it specifically for this episode. But it's the freaking Tesla robots. Because yes, they can be cool, and I can see why people might want to have them, but the concept of it is just kind of like scary to me a little bit, because I don't know, you just never really know. It almost feels like it is messing with things that, I don't know. Like, all the comments were like, okay, I know how this ends. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Have you ever seen
freaky.
iRobot with Will Smith? That's how it ends. The robots rebel against the humans and, want to take over.
Because realistically, like, they do know so much more than us. They know like, you could ask them a question and they would know, right? Because they're robots.
Yeah, but do they?
And it's AI.
Have emotions?
Well, no, but I'm like, are emotions something that can be taught to them? I just have so many other questions. And I think my sister made me watch, what's that one movie? It's like a robot doll.
Robot doll?
Actually, no, I think it's just a doll. It's not Annabelle.
Like a scary movie?
Yes, it's a scary movie, but she's like a doll, and I think she has like artificial intelligence, and she ends up just becoming like too smart. But it's more so scary. Anyways, the point is that I just feel like these robots, it's something that I feel like can get out of hand really quickly.
For sure, because it feels like, well, who's regulating these things? Like, what is the limitation on a robot that can, because I think the video we were seeing, like, they were serving drinks, right? They were like bartending. Like, that's, I mean, a cool concept, but that's only the start. They're bartending.
Shh, people.
Like, what else can these robots eventually, what are people going to want these robots to do? Because it's only going to be, that's, like I said, that's only the start of like what the technology can potentially do with these things. So are they going to start babysitting? Are they going to start, being law enforcement? Are they going to start being
walking your dogs?
Walking your dogs? Like, who knows? Like, there's, again, if people aren't, like I said, regulating what is too much, there is no limit. And if there's no limit, they're going to take over.
I want to put like the dramatic like news music on you. Yeah, I just personally don't really like it. And I think that they're also going to make them so that they're not like really rich people. It's not going to be uncommon for them to have it, because I think it's like $20,000 is what they're aiming to have them cost. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of like a car. So anyone who, instead of getting a new car, you can just go get a robot and have them do a bunch of your chores for you.
I'd rather.
Or errands.
Well,
anyways, I just thought that was kind of scary, because it did kind of stick with me. And I eventually heard that the robots in that video that were like bartending and doing those things, that they were actually being controlled for this specific event, just because they were all kind of like aligned with each other. And I think for this specific event, they were being controlled, but the concept of them is that's kind of what it's going to be. Them.
Well, I wonder how that would end up working and what people would actually think, because, we've had so many cool bartenders. One of them is named Cole, I believe.
How would you remember this?
Cole. I only know like 2 Coles, but like it was at Lux Bar in Chicago. He was a really cool dude, and he was very personable and made good drinks and was like doing the whole shaky thing.
And you can't I feel like a robot can't recreate that. Like, yes, you can have him do like the most basic things, but there's like a personality that you can't get from a robot.
Exactly. So it's like there's only so much they can do right now.
Yeah.
But again, not to say what can be done potentially in the future.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We have another story.
We do?
Yeah, we have one more story to share.
I don't remember this one, but...
Well, this one's not spooky. Let's move away from spooky now. Actually, I have a lot of questions, so maybe it's a little bit like, what's going on? But we just got some new neighbors. I feel like I'm whispering because it's like...
They can't hear us.
No, I know they can't hear us, but it makes me feel like I have to whisper for some reason. But we just got some new neighbors last week, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been pretty interesting. So let's rewind a little bit. I had like the tiniest glass of wine and I feel like I'm struggling to talk.
What?
It was tiny, and you took like the last couple of sips from me.
Mahogany. Sandalwood.
All right. So when they moved in, where am I going? What is the story?
I don't even know the story.
No. Okay, I got it. I got
you
it.
know the story.
No, you do know the story. You were there for the story.
I was kind of paying attention, but not really. Go ahead.
Okay, basically, they moved in, right? We couldn't really tell exactly who's moving in and who's just like helping move in, but I figured, okay, so now I've kind of come to the conclusion that it's like a mom and her daughter.
Then who's the third person?
I think it's the sister. It's the mom's sister. There's a little girl, right? There was one day I was working in the office and you could hear screaming so loud. I sent you a video of it because I'm like, they literally just moved in one day ago. And this is before I kind of like knew the whole, actually I still don't know the whole story, but this is before I kind of knew like the dynamic. So in my head, I'm just like, what is happening? Like, who are these people that just moved in? Because this girl, I remember seeing or hearing like a little girl, but she wasn't a baby. And the screaming was insane. I sent you a video of it. And it literally went on for probably like 20 minutes. And it was loud enough that I could hear it from our office in our building. And they were just inside their building. So it was loud, right? But I kind of like brushed it off, like whatever. Obviously, there's a kid in there. And I don't know. So the point is, that was like the first thing. Second thing happened a couple of days ago.
2 days ago. Or even last night.
No, that wasn't last night.
So 2 days ago then.
2 days ago. 2 days ago, we heard kind of like some commotion outside of our door.
Mm-hmm. Look through the little peephole.
Yeah.
What's going on?
The thing is, they're literally right in front of us. So whenever someone's in the hallway, you're kind of like, what's going on? Right? So we were just like, what's happening? And it looked like a bunch of like non-emergency people, like responders were there. It was literally like 5 different guys. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like police officers, but that's what I'm guessing. It was like a non-emergency like number that they had called. And one of the women was standing outside, and you can clearly hear everything. So she was telling them that the little girl was inside, locked in.
Yep.
And this happened to me before with Brady, because our doors have this specific like safety feature where even if you leave the door unlocked, if the safety feature is on, the doorknob can't turn.
Yep.
So from the outside, if your door is unlocked, like no one can get in. And when we were new, we didn't know. We thought our doorknob was broken. So we actually called maintenance, and they were like, oh, it's actually like just an extra safety feature that we didn't know about. And so I right away knew that this is what happened to them. She probably ran downstairs to get something, maybe her mail or something, left the girl inside, left it unlocked because she was going to be right back. And then the safety feature was on, so she couldn't get back in. And our doors are heavy. So
they're pretty heavy, yeah.
So I'm assuming that they all went into like a panic because now this little girl is locked inside by herself and they can't get in. And it was like probably like 9 p.m. at night. So our office is closed at this point. And so like you do essentially have to call either like police officers or like a locksmith or something. And so everyone is here trying to figure out what's going on. They wanted to make sure that they had contact with the little girl inside, and which they did. We could even hear the little girl trying like responding to them from the inside. And then they were also not really doing anything yet. It was just everyone standing outside because whoever these people were couldn't damage the property. So they were trying to figure out like what to do or like who to get.
Oh, they couldn't damage it? They weren't allowed to?
They couldn't like break down the door, or they couldn't like start like doing any drilling.
It looked like they put some kind of mechanism on the door for a second. But okay.
But they
I
did
didn't
say something about like they were on the phone with somebody because they wanted to make sure they had like approval because they didn't want to damage the property. So we're over here being like the nosy neighbors, taking turns like watching through the peephole, literally pushing each other out of the way to see what's going on. And eventually, I think, they were asking where's the mom, because the woman who was out there wasn't the mom. She was the little girl's aunt. So they were asking her, where's the mom? Where's the mom? The mom was actually talking to the girl from the outside of the building.
We're on the second floor, so the mom was outside, obviously, on the ground level, talking up to her daughter,
like from the balcony.
And I don't think the daughter was on the balcony, but maybe like the screen door was open. Who knows? But she was talking to her from there.
Yes. So basically we're like, okay, I felt really bad for them because I can tell they were also saying like, you need to make sure that the back door, that balcony door, you have to like let us know if it's actually closed or not, because if it's not, I think then it becomes like an emergency, because then there's a little kid who has access to a balcony and it's unsafe because she's by herself. Yeah. So I think this is why it became like this big commotion. So like I said, the mom was talking to her daughter from like the first floor from the outside. It's kind of hard to explain, but eventually they're literally getting ready to like open this door, and somehow the little girl ends up turning the knob and opening the door.
But the mom, she climbed from the outside to eventually also get on into the apartment.
It happened so like perfect timing. Like the little girl opened the door and the mom on the outside was at this point probably panicking. And so she somehow scaled this wall strength. Ended up, yes, it really is like mom strength. Ended up scaling this wall, getting on her own like balcony, which like to this, like I still don't know how she did that. And getting inside right at the time where the little girl opened the door. So once the door opens, the mom like also comes into like view, and she's crying, and I feel so horrible. And I'm like, I'm literally waiting for these cops to leave so that I can walk out there as like the nosy neighbor that I am and tell them this happened to me. Like, let me just show you that it's just a safety feature so that it doesn't happen again. Crazy story.
Yeah.
And
nerve-wracking for that family, I would assume. Obviously, they were crying, and you have a baby, or not a baby, but a small child locked in. It's late at night.
Yeah, late at night. Probably going to cost her a lot, because locksmiths honestly charge so much money just to like unlock a door that I've heard.
They didn't unlock the door.
No, they didn't. They were like, oh, so, and I was actually glad. I was like, oh, thank goodness she opened the door, because it's like they left. They're like, oh, okay, I guess you won't be needing us. They were kind of questioning them a little bit. They're like, are you guys sure you're okay? Like, you won't need us? Like, is everything good, basically? And I think they were also kind of like, how did the mom get in here?
And then they're like, she climbed.
Yeah.
And that's impressive, because I don't know. I would have to look to see how exactly she would have done it.
So actually, because we have Mabel, I took her through the back when I was going to go take her outside, just because I'm still curious to see like how she climbed this wall. Mm-hmm. So I went through that area. There's literally nothing. I don't know how she did it.
Well, I mean, there are like the columns to obviously support the deck.
But so the columns have nothing to climb unless you're like literally like almost like rope climbing.
Who knows?
That is crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad everyone was okay. Everyone left.
Everyone left. And I just feel bad now, because at the beginning I felt like I was kind of judging a little bit, like, who are these people so loud, just moved in, you know? And now I'm just more like, I feel like a lot of empathy for her, because she looks like she's like single mom with her daughter, probably overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Could have literally happened to anyone. Literally has happened to me before. And actually, when it happened to me, it wasn't like office was closed, so I couldn't go get like a set of extra keys from them. So but I kind of panicked because I was like, oh my gosh, a locksmith is going to charge me an insane amount of money. Also, I have Brady with me because I was just taking him out real quick. And then our maintenance guy just so happens to live in our same like apartment building. Not our building, but like our same like complex. I didn't know where he lived, but I knew like a lot of people do know where he lives because he's like our maintenance guy around here. And so literally I just took a little walk and asked somebody who was outside, like, by any chance, do you know like where the maintenance guy lives? And she pointed me to his door, and I like so embarrassed when knocked on his door on like a Sunday, like random Sunday. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I am locked out of my building with my dog. And he was like so nice about it. He like skateboarded to like to his like maintenance shop and got like the keys and stuff and saved the day. But
not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all that I have. I kind of rambled a lot this episode.
It's the wine.
I think so.
The little glass of wine.
The tiniest glass of wine.
No, but that was hey, we wanted to do something Halloween-ish on Halloween, and this is I think a good way of doing it, dressing up, sharing some scary stories, and scary. And talking about our not so scary Halloween, not even Halloween, just a date that just kind of happened, and we ended up still making the most of it and watching a not so scary movie as well. But it was fun. It was a good time. I'm glad you got the idea of dressing up, because we were struggling. Like, what do we dress up as? And again, we didn't want to do the whole, sexy, like that kind of stuff. No. Just something casual, little funny, and I think this works out perfectly.
Yeah, it worked out. All right. I'm Veronica something.
You're Veronica Corningstone.
I'm Veronica Corningstone. This is Channel 4 News. Thank you for tuning in.
And I'm Ron Burgundy. Stay classy, San Diego. And
bye.
Well, no. We will see you on the next Couples Coverage.
Yes.
Make sure to subscribe, like the podcast, at Couples Coverage on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere where you listen to your podcast. Also, share it with a friend. Like this episode. Leave a comment. That would really help us out. But that's it for episode 39. Thank you, everybody.
Stay classy, right?
San Diego.
Okay. Bye.